Welcome back, everyone, to Monmouth Moment. I'm your host, Addie Smith. We're here with these students today, and we're going to be talking about the Kieft research program and just what their experiences have been here this summer.
I'm Ivana Stefanova. I'm from Hoffman Estates, Illinois. I'm going to be a senior next fall, and I'm a chemistry major. I'm on the women's tennis team. I studied abroad in Austria. I'm the analytical chemistry SI. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, very involved. All right.
My name is Ethan Wright. I'm a chemistry major. I'm going to be a senior this year. And my research advisor for this was Michael Prinzel. Oh, and I'm from Normal, Illinois.
Okay, yeah. So you guys are both from Illinois. And how did you guys find out about Monmouth or decide that you wanted to come here? Or how did that experience go?
Actually, tennis coach from Monmouth, Brian Dahlstrom, reached out to me. And I played tennis in high school, so I came on a visit here, and I think I just kind of fell in love with this small campus, like really tight-knit friend groups, tight-knit groups with your professors and stuff like that. So that's why I decided to come here.
Yeah.
My dad works here.
Yeah.
Shout out D-Dub.
How did you guys know that you wanted to go more into like the STEM field, specifically chemistry? Have you guys always been more inclined in that area when you were in school, or like what drew you to the chemistry program?
So actually, I came in as an exercise science major my freshman year.
Yeah.
And that was mostly because I played sports and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But I took Gen Chem here, and then my second semester I took analytical chemistry with Dr. Audra Goach. I kind of fell in love with chemistry and realized, like, I'm good at this and I like to do it. So, and I really like the professors, like the chemistry department is just incredible. So that's why I wanted to.
Just kind of clicked. Yeah. What about you, Ethan?
I transferred actually my junior year last year from Knox, and I didn't know what I wanted to do for the first 2 years basically of college, and then I came here and Dr. Audra Goach, Dr. Laura Moore, Dr. Michael Prinzel, they all like kind of saved me, and they were really helpful and considerate the entire time. So So you transferred here. What drove you to transfer from Knox to Monmouth? I mean, they're pretty similar in like sizes, I feel like, and communities, or did you just feel like you needed a change, or? Yeah, just a change.
Yeah. I'm a transfer student too, so I just always like to ask about what drew people. Okay, so you guys are involved in a summer program, the Kieft research program. So do you guys want to like kind of touch on what you guys are doing, what's involved, how do you get selected, pretty much all the details about that?
Sure. So to get selected, you have to apply. There's like an application, and they select, I think, 8 to 10 people. So each professor has their own like thing that they're working on.
Okay.
They're like Audra works more with the Langmuir monolayer technique. Dr. Laura Moore works with like biochemistry-esque, and Michael does more organic synthesis.
Okay.
So you get to choose, and then you get picked by the professors, basically. I personally work with both Dr. Audra Goach and Dr. Laura Moore. They kind of share me this summer, and that's because my research project is basically I'm extracting a bacteria called Lactobacillus bulgaricus from Bulgarian yogurt, and then testing its antibacterial activities using the Langmuir monolayer technique, which is basically we make these model cell membranes of like bad bacteria, and we see how a substance interacts with it. That's basically the gist of my project.
Cool.
Yeah, I applied, and there's each professor does their own thing, but you can kind of say, okay, here's the subset of that I would like to do. So I made like 5 different proposals before Michael said, yeah, okay, that works, because the first one was, hey, can I work with rocket fuel? And he's like, I don't know if that's the safest thing.
He's like, probably not.
Which is reasonable, good for Michael.
He wants to stay alive and safe,
I guess the elevator pitch for my thing is that there's like clinical research where they're trying to make kind of more targeted cancer treatments to reduce side effects. So one of the compounds that they use for that are called hydrozones, and they are used because they have a tendency to break apart in acidic environments, and then tumors or cells are more acidic than your blood level. So you can have it kind of as like a drug delivery mechanism, so it's safe, and then it breaks apart, and it attacks just the things that you want to reduce side effects. So I made a lot of those compounds, like the carrier part of it, and tested it in those different conditions. So like more acidic environments versus less acidic environments.
So for these projects, like how long do you have to kind of like work through these? Or is it ongoing even after the summer, or does it end once the program ends? Like how does that work in terms of your projects?
So the program lasts about 8 weeks, and most people continue to do their research throughout the semester. So we have like a research class during the semester, and you usually take it like your junior and senior year, but you can take it at any point. It's like a half credit. Basically, you just do research during the semester. So a lot of people that did Kieft just continue their research into the semester. But obviously, you get a lot more done during the summer than during the semester because you have a lot of other things to do. Yeah. But that's what's so great about this program. You're just fully focused on the research. So.
You're able to do sort of things that you couldn't do in the school year. So, like, for example, like one of my reactions takes like 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
Or there's another reaction that takes 9 hours. So, like, these are the kinds of things where it's a whole day
and then you have to, like, wait and slowly. It's a very slow-moving process for...
And then there was a tornado that interrupted things.
Oh, yeah.
Monmouth's
giant tornado, you know.
But the power in the building went out, so you
can't do anything.
So that's a good excuse, you know, you get a little day off anyways that day, so... Did that, like, set anything back for you guys in the power going out? Or, like, did it ruin anything depending on, like, what you're working on? I don't know if, like...
Yeah.
It did for you,
Well, I mean, and you have to redo it, but...
Nothing too, like, detrimental, right?
Yeah,
okay, good.
I mean, we have... the CSB has a backup generator.
Okay,
so it runs some of the more important things. Like, we have, like, a
sub-zero,
80, I don't know, freezer that, like, stores a lot of things. So they like, keep that running at all times. So it wasn't that detrimental, but, like, it was, like, a little bit inconvenient.
I think those are, like, things people don't necessarily think about, especially, like, for your guys' program. But, yeah, okay, that's super neat. So how many students are, like, involved this summer? Is it 8 then, or is it more?
It's 9.
9.
So there's technically 3 per person, but then you can do both, and then Tara does, like, he's both with Michael and Audra. So you work between the
we
somewhat.
kind of share each other.
You guys just all kind of...
Each professor, I think, gets a minimum of 3. I think they try to, like, space it out a little bit.
So then you guys are ultimately just kind of working on your own and then with the professors then, right? There's not really collaboration among all of you?
I mean, if you're working on similar projects, I guess you can work together, like, help each other out. Like, for example... Audra's group works with the Langmuir monolayer technique. So, like, we work with this one instrument, and if someone needs help, like, we can help each other.
You guys will help each other,
with the technique, but, like, more specific things regarding your, like, research is, you know, obviously for Audra, more or less, so.
And, sorry, we're going to, go ahead.
Sorry, this is switching gears a little bit. Just a background, I wanted to mention that, like, Doc Kieft obviously was the professor who used to work here, and he did analytical chemistry, and then he left the endowment that sort of started this whole thing, and we're able to go to the ACS conference as well each year. So he included.
Do you want to explain like what that conference is for those who may not?
Sure, I can explain it. That's like they have a national conference in the fall and the spring, I think, and just everyone from anywhere around the world comes to this conference, and they like present, like there's oral presentations like in a giant lecture hall basically, or there's like poster sessions, which is for more undergraduate and graduate work.
Where was the one last year?
In Atlanta.
So are they in like a different location every year?
Yeah,
then?
Every year it's in a different location. I think in this fall it's in Chicago actually.
Oh, cool. So that'll be a little more convenient.
Yeah, right. But we get to travel, which is super cool, and that's thanks to the Doc Kieft endowment and also the Ken Knox Fund. So it was super cool to get to visit Atlanta and see all these interesting talks.
Yeah.
And the ACS is the American Chemical Society.
Okay, perfect. And then you guys mentioned that you do travel, so like where else do you guys go, or is that mainly the only spot you guys travel to?
Yeah, I mean, this summer, and I think usually every summer, they try to go to the University of Iowa, and that's because we have some alumni that work there. For example, Dr. Shaw and Dr. Knudsen, who showed us around the civil environmental engineering and the chemistry program. So we got to just see graduate school.
Yeah.
And kind of experience what that would be like. Like, they have a ton of instruments. I mean, it's incredible, honestly, how many things they have.
It doesn't compare to Monmouth quite yet. Like, we're super lucky to have all of this, but I guess seeing it on, like, the next level of what you guys...
They have so much, and I think it helps to see if you want to go to grad school or not.
Yeah.
Like, how it just...
Like, their endowment is, like, $800 million.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So they'll just show off a million... like, this here is $1 million. This here divided...
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very different.
You guys will go on, though. You'll create your own, like, giant labs and stuff with, like, worth $80 million. So do you guys go anywhere else, or is that pretty much?
We also went to a place in Peoria called Velocity Labs.
Okay.
So there's an alumni, Dr. Mitch Johnson, who founded that.
Oh, cool.
And then he has a lot of Monmouth alumni who also worked. So I think at least 5 Monmouth alumni work there as well. And they do, like, chemical processing of samples, biological samples and everything. So it was interesting to see the difference between, like, grad school and industry and sort of the different pathways that you can take after you leave Monmouth.
your undergrad program. So kind of like pivoting, getting to, like, go to these places, do you guys kind of have, you're both going to be seniors, so do you have, like, any idea of, like, what's next, or, like, maybe where you want to go?
I mean, I think I'm going to go to grad school. I was thinking, so I did my study abroad in Austria, and I'm thinking of going back to get my master's degree there. So that's my plan for now.
Things change. A lot changes in a year, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see.
And you have time to figure it out, so.
Initially, I thought I was going to do industry right away, but talking with people and I might try to do grad school, but we'll see how that goes.
Do you think, like, there's any pros or cons going to grad school? Like, more experience, like, after you guys have kind of visited?
There's, like, certain career paths that are limited depending on, like, if you have a terminal degree or not.
Yeah.
So, like, you're not going to be able to be a professor, like a tenure track professor in a lot of universities unless you have a doctorate.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Typically, you make more money in industry, but, you know, it's up to what you want to do. Like, if you want to stay in academia and do more research-based things, that's grad school will be your choice. I don't think there's any really pros and cons necessarily.
It's just like what you prefer.
I think, what you really want to go into. Obviously, like you said, if you want to go into, like, if you want to be a doctor or something, obviously you have to go to med school.
Yeah, do all that.
There's certain career paths that you need to go to grad school for.
You're deciding, like, the next 5 years of your life. And
So. I know it's a long process, and also, like, you kind of have to figure it out along the way. And
because you can do the first 2 years are more coursework, so you can do, like, you can get at that point when you're done with that, you can decide to just leave with a master's. Okay. But then if you decide to pursue a PhD, the next 3 to 4 years, it's going to be research and then presenting your dissertation and then getting that.
Okay, nice. And then, like, I had, like, one other question. So, like, is the Kieft program, can you do it all 4 years here at Monmouth, or is it 1 year? I don't know how.
There are people who do it multiple years.
So you can do it multiple years.
Yeah.
Usually people do it only for 1 year, but there have been people that come back as, like, a mentor, or, like, we have actually 2 students that came back from last year that are doing it again this year, and they're just continuing
their research,
or going a little bit of a different path.
And it's mainly for chemistry and biochemistry majors, first. But then there's different professors who do it as well. So, like,
Dr. Ugalino used to do it. She did the past few years, so she did more neuroscience stuff. This year, I think we had the option of Dr. Fasano. Okay. But he started doing something else, I think.
He's always doing
he's
something.
He's going to Washington.
Yeah, he's always somewhere, some conference. He's a busy guy.
The wonderful crazy hair.
Yes. Okay, cool. And then, so do you so if, like, you wanted to do it, like, a following year, do you interview or, like, apply each year, or, like, how does that? I know we touched on it slightly, but I didn't know, like, how that process.
It's just like an application process.
Oh,
you don't have to interview it for anything or anything. Like, it's just a few questions, I think. What do you, like, the project that you want to do? You don't have to know specifically, but, like, what area you want to choose. Like, you rank which professors you want. Okay. In terms of what their, like, specialty is. And then you kind of just, it's just 5 questions, I think, that you answer, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, the only reason that I I wrote the whole different proposal. That wasn't a requirement.
You just wanted
I just wanted to do my own, like, kind of separate thing. So then I had to be like, oh, it's not,
Okay, cool. And then one of, like, our last questions here wrapping up. So what do you think, like, this experience, like, these opportunities, like, how is this going to prepare you for the future, would you say?
I think for me, I feel a lot more comfortable in the lab.
Yeah.
Like, I also feel a lot more comfortable asking questions because you kind of have to. Like, the professors are not constantly checking in on you, which I think is a good thing, but you just have to go to them and ask them a question that they're willing, obviously, to help you out. But it kind of gets you out of your comfort zone. And it kind of, if you are going to go to grad school, it gets you prepared for the research aspect of that. Yeah. So, I think it's a great opportunity.
I think for me, it's sort of two things. The first one is failing. So you have to be willing to fail.
It's okay
again
to fail,
and again and again. Like, you have to be willing to say, okay, there's a tornado that happens. You do 5 proposals. Your starting material that you need to make all this stuff gets delayed. So you have to, pivot and do other things. And you have to have a lot of patience for that. But then also a big thing is presenting. So, like, here at Monmouth, you do a science seminar where people in all the different departments or programs present their research to an audience, and we go to the ACS conference, and you do all these things because you don't just want to be able to do the research, you want to be able to explain it to an audience of people, and that's something that they emphasize a lot here at Monmouth.
Yeah, I don't think people understand how important it is to have those skills, to be able to stand up and be confident in what you're presenting. Like, I've sat in, like, on a few as well, just some of my friends, like, whether it's in engineering or biology, and kind of seeing what they've worked on. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this conversation. I know nothing about chemistry or, like, any of this, so this was super awesome to hear your guys' experiences, and also to get out to more students about the chemistry program. And there are so many opportunities here at Monmouth, which I don't think too many people understand as well, how beneficial it is to go into a program like this at a school like this. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. And yeah, that will be it for episode 2. Thank you guys all for watching, and thank you to you guys as well.